Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things Weiss Schwarz and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to talk about a community Hololive tier list. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button. As well as that, check out my other social medias on Twitch, on X and on Discord. The links are in the description below. But let's jump straight in. Now today, like I said, I want to be covering the Hololive community tier list thanks to the people that completed a Google form that I created around the release of Hololive Volume 2 in the English format. And on that Google form, we received 33 responses, so thank you so much for those that responded and gave your input on your opinions regarding Hololive with Volume 2. Now remember, this is a video with opinions, so please be kind in the comments, but do let me know what you think to this community list, as well as what you think is the best Hololive deck profile to play right now. Let me know in the comments below. But let's jump straight in. Now, for a little bit of context, on the form that was provided, there were 20 Hololive decks, and for each of them, I asked you, the community, to score it from 1 to 10, 1 being unplayable, 10 being the best deck in the format. Now, as part of this as well, I did sort of ask to keep it within Hololive itself, as in like, as if it was a Hololive-centric opinion, but also to consider, you know, its wider impact on the English meta. And starting off in 10th, well, joint 9th, we have Weiss Schwarz and the Generation X deck, Chloe Ollie Laplace. Both these decks scoring a relatively decent 6.23 out of 10, and honestly, Weiss Schwarz, sure, I kind of see why it's here. I'm actually kind of surprised that it scored above Mume Gura, which that really just surprised me. But I also think the Generation X deck was actually scored lower than I was expecting. I was expecting this to be 6th, maybe 5th. So to see it only 9th is actually quite surprising to me. Moving on to 8th, we've still got Mume, but this time accompanied by Redacted Rusia. This is another 8 pants build, scoring 6.33, so slightly higher than the previous 2 decks. And again, I see why. Rusia is a decent card, and I think it's still a good card in general gameplay. Do I think it deserved to be scored higher than Gen X? No. Do I think it deserved to be scored higher than probably the best pants finisher the sets has in Gura? No. But this is the community opinion, and yeah, it currently comes in at 8th. And next in 7th place, we see the first appearance of the ASCII standby combo, this time with its fellow Generation 0 friend, Sora. Now, I really like this build. I've tried this out and I think it's really, really fun. It's got a very, very strong like board presence. Also, if you can get your, the next Soul Wall going from level 1 or level 2, it's pretty good. Obviously, it ran well with Miko with the level 1 standby, but that combo was kind of weak. ASCII is a much better standby combo. It's probably the best standby combo, especially early game, the set has to offer. Yeah, if you want to run the Sora combo, I strongly recommend you run it with ASCII. Moving to 6th, Chloe comes back with Ollie, but this time using Marine as its end game finisher. Now, I see why this is scored higher than the Gen X pure build. Marine is obviously a very good finisher, better than the Plus, and the deck has enough utility to run 8 door, and you can be very, very comfortable running basically 4 of one climax of the Chloe climax, and then 2 of each of the Ollie and the Marine climax, or even go 3-1 if you really wanted to, because it has got the level 2 Anya, and you can run basically, you can just cycle whatever door that you actually need. The risk of running 1 climax means that if it gets into stock or something and you can't get to it, you're kind of screwed. But the deck and Hololive as a whole has very good ways of either cleaning your stock out or getting to a point where you've got the card in an accessible area to be able to get it. So I see why this deck is pretty good, and this, like I said, this comes in at 7th with a score of 6.57. In 5th place, we move into the 7s with a score of 7.07. We have Kali Gura. I can see why this is scored highly. Again, Gura being a very good finisher, Kali being a good accompanying combo, given it's a level 1 with a Soul Trigger icon, and the fact that, Kali itself optimizes off of running a high Soul Trigger count deck. The downside to it is obviously the choice trigger itself does not have a Soul Trigger icon, which does mean that you are guaranteed to be running 4 less Soul Triggers in the deck. but it's still a very strong card with a very strong level 1 game. And obviously Gura just being Gura, being an extremely good finisher for Hololive right now. Moving on to 4th, and I'm going to include 3rd here, we've got Kanata Marine and Kanata Gura. Now the reason I'm including them together is 1, it's both Kanata, but secondly, the scores are extremely close. Kanata Marine scoring 7.48 and Kanata Gura scoring 7.50 exactly. Now obviously both these decks showing that Kanata is still an extremely strong mid to mid-late option to play, and you know, this consistency of the level 0 game only getting better with Hololive Volume 2. Obviously, you've got the Rainy, you've got the Climax Swapper in Ina, you've got the Mio Drop Search, which is actually nuts for this deck. The deck as a whole is just really, really strong with Volume 2. And like, Kanata Marine was a force to be reckoned with beforehand. Kanata Marine is now an even stronger force to be considered with. And Kanata Gura now also exists as well, meaning that you can swap out your level 1 red engine to a level 1 blue engine with the level 1 Accelerate Ina, as well as giving you some really nice access to some level 2 yellow blues. And you still run enough yellow to obviously run your yellow level 3s, like your stock swap and things like that. So ironically, the level 0 and the level 3 game doesn't change too much. The level 1 and level 2 basically just change to the color that you're prioritizing for your end game. Moving into 2nd place, we have 8 Standby ASCII Polka, scoring a strong 7.93. Still not breaking that 8 barrier though, and this is 2nd. So you can see where this is going. But honestly, in my opinion, in the current meta, I genuinely think ASCII Polka is the deck to play. I personally prefer it. It's a really unique standby build. It's not your stereotypical way of playing 8 standby. It's quite utilitarian with your level 0s. It's still got a relatively high level 0 count just because of how strong the level 0s are, and also because of the level 1 Polka combo, where realistically you're not putting cards into memory. When you use the Polka combo, you are going to be salvaging level 0s. So you want to make sure you've got the best level 0s you've got, as well as a good number of level 0s. And the deck balances really, really well. And if you haven't tried it out, I strongly recommend you give it a go. It is really, really fun. And in my opinion, probably the best out to the number 1 spot. And of course, if you know anything about Hololive, you know this number 1 spot belongs to Standby Pants ASCII Gura. Totally skipping 8 and getting a total score of 9.23. That's a big jump from 2nd. Now, is it the best deck Hololive has in the current meta? Probably. Is it the best deck within Hololive itself? No, I don't think it is. The Gura finisher, don't get me wrong, incredibly scary, and the fact that even with only double combo, you can push your opponent from 2-3 or 2-2 even to dead, and there's nothing they can do. Now, if your opponent knows how to play around ASCII, and because of how ASCII has been such a highlighted, like the ASCII Gura has been such a highlighted deck to play with, and to play against, and to know how to play against ready for the meta, the problem is people have figured out the out to this. For example, 8 Standby Hololive running the 1 copy, usually only 1 copy, maybe 2 copies, of the 0/0 Arachnid Trainer Hachima. You know, that card can just totally slow down Hololive, or ASCII Gura specifically, because you'll be standing stuff to the back row. It'll be, you know, the 2/1 Ame or the 3/2 Gura, and the Hatter just comes out and goes, "Nah, you're staying there. You're not coming out. Nah, you don't want to go there." And even as on play and on death as well, it's a really good card. And we've actually seen a similar profile in terms of the Hachima Arachnid Trainer card in Sword Art Online. People are now also running in the 0/0 Yu-Gi-Oh!, which does a similar thing. And honestly, in the current meta for the Yu-Gi-Oh!, and talking about Sword Art Online very quickly, I think it's a fantastic tech choice, knowing that ASCII Gura is going to be running quite rampant. 1, because it's a good deck, and secondly, it's Hololive. A lot of people like Hololive. There's a reason why Hololive is Hololive. It's a reason why Weiss Schwarz has become Hololive TCG, let's be honest. I also like Hololive too much. Help me, please. But talking about Asakigura as it stands, like, again, it is a fantastic deck. You know, you can run this deck with 36. I think some people have managed to push to 38 Soul Trigger icons in the deck to really, really optimize and reduce the coin flip of the Gura finisher whiffing. You know, I think in the current meta, you know, you want that Gura finisher to be as accurate and as lethal as possible. So honestly, if there is a way of trying to stack even more Soul Triggers into that deck by reducing your level 0 count, it might actually be something worth considering. It generally might be. It could be an extremely interesting card to try and, you know, play around more. I think in terms of consistency, 36 to 38 is about the maximum you can do. But I know what some people in this community are like, and I know some people will be cooking, and they'll be cooking on gas. So I'll be very interested to see if that trigger count increases anytime soon, and whether that actually impacts the effectiveness of Gura. But that's it. That is the top 10 decks, according to you guys in the community, what you think are the decks to play for Hololive. And in the most cases, I do agree. I do think there are a couple of decks that could have been brought up higher. I do think, for example, Mume Gura is better than Mume Suisei, so I think that could have been slightly higher. I also think the Gen X deck could have been just a little bit higher. I think it does do better than Azuki Sora, for example, as much as Azuki Sora is really good fun. But on the whole, I would pretty much agree with this tier list. But again, what do you think? What do you think is the best deck to play in Hololive? And do you think that Hololive is the best deck in the format right now? Honestly, no, I don't think it is. I still think with Alice, as good as it is still, is the deck to play. And it frustrates me to say that because I personally haven't got Alice, and I've tried playing Alice and I can't get my head around it. Asakigura is an extremely easy deck to play. It's extremely linear with extremely little thought process required. Alice, to get that deck going well, is an extremely difficult deck to play and to master. So, you know, if you're able to play Sword Art Online Alice and you know it well, I would recommend playing Sword Art Online Alice. I'd potentially look at some different combos around that, but that's content for another video. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, what do you think about Hololive? Do you think it's the deck to play? Do you think it is the deck to win BCS going forward? At the moment, as results are suggesting right now, maybe it isn't. It is not winning BCSs right now, but it might do soon. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Hololive is the deck to play? Or do you think you should play something else if you intend to win BCS? Let me know in the comments below. And again, if you haven't already and you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button and join the community, hit that subscribe button. And not only that as well, check out my social medias on Twitch, on X, and on Discord. Links are down in the description below. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!